G'day everyone, it's Scaretastic here, and today we are going to be looking at a prop which I have been looking very forward to unboxing and showcasing for you guys, the Distortions Unlimited Cracking Crypt. Now this is the crowning jewel of my collection for Halloween animatronics and props. For a start, it's one of the only props that I have in my collection, one of the only animatronics, or in this case a Frightronic, that utilizes foam and latex. So as we're going to see in the video, I'm going to be touching a lot of the prop, and it's going to be a spongy sort of texture, so I'll try and explain it in detail more as we go along in the video. Not only that, but this also is made by a company from the United States called Distortions Unlimited. Now, Distortions Unlimited is based in a place called Greeley, Colorado. It is considered by many in the not just Halloween haunt industry, but pro haunt industry as well, as one of the most respected production companies. If you want to get a start in the pro haunt scene, this is a company that you should really approach and at least obtain one of their props, which I have done. Another bit of backstory I have with this prop, I got this after it stopped being a display piece at a costume shop that's nearby. I got this prop discounted due to it being a display prop. I will point out, as you will also see in the video, that it has a slight problem with one of the mechanics. Other than that, this was a prop that when it became available to me and when the offer was there to purchase it, I had to do it. Because after all, especially in Australia as well, unless you want to buy and ship directly from Distortions themselves, it's very tricky to try and find a Distortions product here in Australia, especially considering that Distortions Unlimited, as of 2024, have announced that they have stopped producing for wholesale. So this was a big steal for me. Now, just a heads up for this video, there won't really be much setting up per se. It really is just one piece altogether. However, I will try my best to describe how the thing works and point out any cool details that the prop may have. But without further ado, let's get started with the unboxing. Alright, so as we can see, the box, at least from the top, doesn't look that bad, but from the sides you can kind of see it. The box has been squished just a tiny bit. Nothing to really worry about. If it gets worse, I might just replace the box in the future, but until then, it's all taped up, it still holds up, so we're still going to use it. Alright, as we can see, the whole thing's covered in bubble wrap. The cord or the power outlet, we can see a bit of the mechanical bits as well. Let's take all this bubble wrap off and get the thing out of the box. Alright, so I think we may have to do this off camera unless I can find a place to put the camera down, as this, from memory, is quite heavy. I mean, we do have some solid steel structure there, which is going to be a bit of a struggle getting out of the box with one hand. And here it is. This is it in all its form and all its glory, the Cracking Crypt. Now, let's do a quick little rundown of what this thing has. Starting off with the front, as we can see, the main bulk of the tombstone is made of foam latex rubber. So this is a good durable material. It's good to paint on. As we can see up close, the detail in this prop is outstanding. You can see the different shades of color all the way down the crack. Even the hands have some color distinction in them. And as you can see with my hand, it's squishy. These two sides actually go out and then in. So this side goes out like that side goes out like that, and then the two pieces connect back in. This sort of durability is good on a prop like this, as when the two pieces of Tombstone collide, they don't make much of an impact, meaning you'll get less chips when the two pieces collide. So I've just briefly connected the power cord to some power, activating it. So I've just made her thing move out here, and this is sort of where I mentioned before about the prop having one small issue. This side of the Tombstone has extended outwards, however this side hasn't. I've looked briefly at the mechanical bits of the prop. I think it may be because one of the rods for the motor that makes the bottom of the piece go up isn't really connecting to where it should. I'm going to try my best to try and rectify this, but otherwise it works fine. Let's have a closer look at the Crypt Woman. I've been calling it a guy this whole time, I do apologize. So we can see even up close. Look at the detail on this one. Now I do believe a little bit of the color has faded out. I will be using this in my haunt for this year. I'm not really going to put it in a place that's going to be up close and personal with any haunted house patrons. It's mainly just going to be a background piece. Nonetheless though, look at the superb detail. They use, I believe, a technique for when they paint the props at Distortions. If we can look up close, this glossy sort of finish it has helps the paint become more shiny to replicate like saliva and everything. It's a crazy process. I can't really explain it in full very well, but if you go on the Distortions Unlimited YouTube channel, which is here, there, you'll find some incredible behind the scenes videos explaining that process and everything. I mean, look, even the clothing is legitimate, even the hair. This is very detailed yet fake hair on the prop that they've managed to put onto it. All this is just magic to me from how they do it, but I myself, like I said, have seen videos on how they make props like this, and this is just a small one essentially compared to the rest of their catalog. I mean, if you go on their website, which I'll also put up the screen here, you will find animatronics, static props, and even masks. Masks are actually what they started with, but nonetheless you'll find all different shapes and sizes of animatronics on their website that you can check out. Back to Cracking Crypt. This is very detailed, as we can see here, but let's stop looking at the face. Let's look at the mechanical part of the prop. Alright, so we've come to the back of the prop here, and as we can see, just below the head is the base of operations. So it starts off with a metal base, thin metal, but strong enough to be stable on the ground. However, I would recommend putting something solid just in between the motor and the front where the tombstone is here, just for extra stability. Now down here is the motor that powers the whole prop. A lot of my props, especially the bigger ones like the Hulking Werewolf and the Scorched Scarecrow, I think the Cauldron Creeper as well, have these sort of motors. Anything that's about life size probably do use a motor like this. However, in my collection, this is probably the biggest motor of this kind that powers any prop in my collection. And if you look closely at it, if I can sort of get the camera around, this is just a windscreen wiper motor. And you would not believe how useful these things are. These things enable, like the windscreen wiper on a car, these things enable these props to go back and forth and side to side. If you ever wonder how the props do that, that's the reason why right here, is because of these windscreen wiper motors. Some companies, to my knowledge, use these motors, but on a smaller scale. As we can see down here, the rotating piece of the motor connects to this rod, which is then bolted to the shaft. Now, at first glance, and I honestly thought this too, this piece here was just a support bar for the whole thing. Turns out this is actually a shaft that connects to the prop, move up and down, while also connecting to pieces of the tombstone. To give you a better idea, in here, this whole middle section connects to the outer piece of the shaft and connects to a piece of metal that meets at the bottom here. Now, if you have these two nuts and bolts connected to either side of the tombstone through another piece of metal, which is enriched into the tombstone, as we can see close up, it's that sort of material that a bed mattress would use. It's the same sort of thing, really. And all motors need something to power it. So down here we have where it starts. So it's coupled to a blue, green and red wire and a black. These go underneath here. These are covered up by a tape, soldered onto the adapter cord, which has been zip tied or wired up, and the input cord for the adapter lead, which is over there somewhere in the corner of camera, which connects to a power outlet. Future Scaretastic here. I forgot to point out as well in the video that Distortions Unlimited do supply soundtracks for the props. However, you need to download these from the internet. You can often find them on their website if you look for them. However, you will need an MP3 player or a CD player or DVD player in order to play the sound. Cool, back to the video. So that's pretty much the Cracking Crypt prop. I'm going to quit yapping now and I'm going to turn this thing on. Here it is in action. And that was the Cracking Crypt Frightronic from Distortions Unlimited. Now, first things first, I know I praised a lot, but is the prop worth buying? It depends. As an Australian home haunter, it is extremely hard to get your hands on something as professional as this. As a matter of fact, if you were to go on the Distortions Unlimited website and have a look around, yes, there are many props, animatronics and masks that you can get high quality but high cost, and obviously that may be daunting to some just starting to get into the trick-or-treat Halloween haunted house scene in Australia that's been rapidly growing. However, I also would say if you want to have a prop that lasts probably years into the future, get a Distortions prop. It's worth it. Just be aware that, of course, the prices aren't going to be pretty, but if you're willing to commit and spend that money on a prop that's going to last a lifetime at most, this may be a choice for you, a Cracking Crypt, or if a store somewhere in Australia has them. But until then, that is going to be it for today's video. If you liked the video, please press the like button down below. If you would like to see more content from this channel in the future, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell. But until then, it's been Scaretastic. Thanks for watching, and bye.